from the Beyond Unreasonable Doubt Studios, in association with Feitner Productions, it's Lay Down the Law! With your host, Billy DeClercq.
Hey, that's me.
Yeah, that's right, Billy. That's you. Featuring Henry David and Pia Smith. Only a madman would dare to bring these people together to build a world of law and order, only to tear it apart with laughter. That madman is attorney Billy DeClercq. The result is a podcast blasted to the farthest reaches of the internet. That podcast is this one, and it starts right now.
Welcome to Laying Down the Law Earmark Edition, the law and comedy podcast hosted by me, the unacknowledged bastard child of Sam Kinison and Karen Bass, Billy DeClercq. I'd like to welcome my returning guests. First, he's an actor, improviser, and writer, originally from Washington, D.C., a graduate from UC Riverside in art history and film, and he's part of the indie improv team Rave Propellers. He is the hysterically funny Henry David.
Yay. Hello.
And my second guest is a costume designer with 5 stars on Poshmark. She's a comic, an improviser, and an actor from the Upright Citizens Brigade, Second City, Hollywood, and she can be seen on American Gangster, Trap Queens. Please welcome the hilarious Pia Smith.
Thank you. Great to be back.
Absolutely. I'm thrilled to have you on the show, but first, a word from our sponsor. And we're back. All right. Are we ready to get into it?
Oh, yes. Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
This week's case has to do with partnership. You know, the thing you got to know about partnership is the only ship that doesn't sail is a partnership.
Ah.
Can we get a rim shot in there? That's horrible. So this is a case out of New Jersey in 1945. The case is Fenwick against Unemployment Compensation Committee. But before we talk about Fenwick, do either of you have any experiences with partnerships, good, bad, or in between?
I had a partnership for about 2 years. It didn't work out between her and I. And I haven't been in a relationship since. That was about a decade ago.
Oh, you mean like a real romantic partnership?
Yeah, that's what we're talking about, right?
Oh, okay. I had what should have been a partnership, but I was too young and naive to be sure that it was classified as such. Like just as it was my senior year of college, and I met this, gentleman who was starting a publication, and so we went into business together, publishing this, it was a great idea for the time. You know, this was years ago, but at the time there wasn't like an inclusive publication that spoke to all of the different campuses around Los Angeles, like all the different college campuses. So we had created this magazine that would do that. Long story short, that was my really bad experience with the partnership.
So you didn't make money you could retire from?
I lost every dime that I have, which is a perfect way to start my post-college life. I didn't get to retire off of that one.
Yeah, you know, sometimes what you say about a partnership is a partnership starts out with one person with a great idea and no money, and another person with money. Oh no, that's not what it is. Yeah, one partner has experience and the other person has money, and by the end they change places.
Oh wow.
Mm-hmm.
We didn't really change places, but it leveled out.
Yeah. You ended up with experience and no money.
Yes.
It's kind of interesting how this case arises. It comes up in the context of unemployment insurance, but that's got nothing to do with the case really. The reason it has nothing to do with the case really is because the question is whether this one employee or partner is an employee or partner. So whether one Arline Cheshire was from January 1st, 1939 to January 1st, 1942, a partner or an employee of Fenwick, John Fenwick, who was doing business as the United Beauty Shop.
These names are so old school.
They are.
Right?
They're very old timey.
Arline, Cheshire, and Fenwick. I feel like
John Fenwick.
Yeah, sure.
it should be
I'm dying to find out about this beauty business in 1939.
1939 to 1942. And the reason is that if she's an employee, she's the 8th employee, which means he had to get insurance. And he didn't have insurance. He said she's a partner. And so if she's a partner, she's a co-owner. So you don't have to have workers' comp insurance for her. And so whether or not he is in trouble for not having insurance depends on whether she's a partner or an employee. So he's arguing that she was my partner, not she was my employee. Yes.
I'm just really curious, how long had these institutions even, like, how long had unemployment insurance been around at that point?
That must have been a New Deal thing.
That's what I'm thinking. Yeah, I'm thinking it was relatively new, right? It hadn't, and I know what you mean when you say New Deal. I didn't mean new as in, you know what I mean. Anyway. Yeah. Do you have any idea, like, when that stuff had become American?
I'm gonna guess. This is what I'm gonna guess. It was a part of a social safety net that FDR implemented, and I want to say that it was implemented.
You've got mail.
In 1935.
Okay. How'd he do, Billy?
I'm just extrapolating.
I love it. Yeah. See, I've been out of college too long to be able to, like, put those sorts of, facts together. So I'm counting on you youngins.
I do know that I think it's the 22nd Amendment. So two-term presidencies, it wasn't in law, but people just they went by that convention. And then FDR kind of took it too far. And so
didn't he do like 4 or 3.5 or 3 1/4 or something like that?
Yeah, he won 4 terms. I think he died in his 4th term.
So in 1932, you're right on, Henry. In 1932, during the Great Depression, it was actually Wisconsin was the first state to bring unemployment insurance into law. I knew that off the top of my head with no reliance on the computer.
So smart.
And it had been on a voluntary basis in some states, but it was the first time it was formalized. California, Massachusetts, New Hampshire, New York, Utah, and Washington were shortly thereafter. And in 1935, as Henry predicted, FDR signed the Social Security Act, which created plans for unemployment insurance and encouraged states to form their own unemployment insurance laws. Wow. So 1935 is the right year. So the unemployment insurance laws had been in place about 10 years. So this is a relatively novel question. Of course, the existence of a partnership goes back much, much further. If I know one thing about businesses is that they like to game the system and pay as little insurance as possible.
Oh, come on.
After something happens, and then they want to have the insurance.
So just a quick clarification. So they needed, as a partnership, they needed to pay 8 employees worth of insurance, or I guess that's where I'm kind of lost as to why. Okay.
The reason that this case comes up in front of the court, Fenwick didn't have unemployment insurance.
Okay.
If you had 8 employees or more, you were required to have it. If you had fewer than 8, you didn't have to have it. He basically says, well, this Miss Cheshire was my business partner. And because she's a business partner, she's not an employee. So because she's a partner and not an employee, we're exempt from unemployment insurance. And there should be no penalty on me for not having it because I only had 7 employees during the time in question, not 8. And the Unemployment Insurance Commission says, no, she's your employee. The question in the case is whether this Cheshire is a partner or an employee in the beauty shop. And so the purpose of this case, for those of you who are listening for continuing education, the purpose of this case, for those of you listening for continuing education credits, is thinking about whether a partnership relationship is formed, when it's formed, or whether someone's an employee. These are general principles that could vary from state to state based upon state laws, but these are general legal principles. So Fenwick had created the beauty shop in Newark, New Jersey in November of 1936. Miss Cheshire had been hired as a cashier or as a reception clerk in 37 or 38. So before she became a quote unquote partner, she brought customers in, she took their orders for the services to be performed, and she collected the money. It was a first come, first served kind of beauty shop, no appointments. And she got $15 a week. And she continued that salary until December of 1938 when she asked for a raise. So this is when it all changed. He said, well, I can give you a raise if we are making more money. And they came up with this agreement, and they called the agreement an agreement of partnership. So they said, we're partners. And they had a lawyer draw up their contract. And the contract said, we become a partners as of January 1st, 1939. The business of the partnership will be this beauty shop. The name of the beauty shop will be United Beauty Shop. By the way, it's Shop PE, Shop.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, fancy.
It's a fancy
Okay.
shop.
Yeah, it's French, you know.
Mhm.
Sure.
Miss Cheshire does not have to put any money in. She's not a capital investment partner. She's a sweat equity partner, as they call it. Fenwick is in charge of the control and management of the business. And Miss Cheshire will continue to be a cashier and reception clerk with $15 a week and a bonus at the end of the year of 20% of net profits if the business warrants it.
If the business warrants it. Interesting.
And only Fenwick is liable for the debts of the partnership. They're both supposed to devote all their best efforts and time to the shop. Each can look at the books and records. And the salary of Fenwick is $50 a week. And at the end of the year, he gets 80% of the profits. And it will continue until either party gives 10 days notice of termination. So that is the agreement of partnership. They called themselves partners. They said they were partners. What is essentially the partnership? It seems that what Miss Cheshire's getting is a profit sharing at the end of the year, if the net profits, if the business warrants it. Which that sounds like some wiggle words to me.
Oh boy.
What does that even? That
The
just sounds,
business doesn't warrant it.
Do we know if they had an existing relationship prior to this employment or partnership?
She was an employee previously. So she had
Okay.
been working in the shop for about a year and a half or so as a receptionist.
I guess I mean, do we know if they knew each other outside of that beforehand?
Oh, like a social relationship? Well, I think we ought
Yeah.
to make one up. Don't you think? Don't you
Because I'm
think?
just like, why? I mean, just trying to figure out why that would be something that person would consider. You know what I mean? And
Yeah, like
assuming there had to be like a level of trust
Mhm.
beyond just,
Yeah,
your
like there's
boss
something
saying,
more
at the
going
end of the
on.
year, I'll give you.
Yeah, give you profit maybe.
does that, but that partnership, it sounds a little irregular or non-traditional. I mean, it seems the partnerships don't seem to be that lopsided in terms of 20/80 and
Yeah. Well, definitely Fenwick has, he's in control and management. He's paid more than three times what she makes. He's he's responsible for the debts, but she's not bringing in any money either. And she's working as a receptionist in the shop just the same. So I think this is, they look at this agreement. And so, you're balancing your scales of justice. And on the side of the scales of justice, on the side of this is a partnership, is the fact that they're calling it a partnership. And she's supposed to get some of the profit at the end of the year. And the court's going to look at the other factors and say, well, maybe it's not a partnership because of these other aspects. So they continued in this partnership relationship until January 1st of 1942, when Miss Cheshire decided she wanted to stay home with her child. The Unemployment Insurance Commission decided that this was nothing more than a employment agreement. It was just fixing her compensation as an employee. From the Unemployment Commission, they went to the court and they say, no, she wasn't an employee, they're partners. And they said, essentially, no, they're partners. And the reason they're partners is because they said they were partners. They called it a partnership, and they said, the other factors surrounding it isn't enough to overcome this agreement that they had that we're partners. This court says, well, we're going to have to make a decision here as to whether they are or aren't partners. So in order to determine whether they are or aren't partners, they consider a number of elements or factors.
Can I stop? Because please forgive me. I may have, I lost track here. I'm not understanding how unemployment ever really came into it. You know what I mean? So she wants to stay home with her child.
Yeah, so there's kind of two things going on here at once.
Okay.
The reason that this case comes up is because he didn't pay for insurance.
Right. But how did that even become an issue? Because he's already in that like area where he's safe. He's got 7 employees and 1 partner. How did that come into question?
Yeah, I don't know. It doesn't necessarily tell us here how that.
Okay, but it did. Somehow unemployment is involved and they're trying to say, no.
Yeah, I mean, typically unemployment. Okay. Yeah, the unemployment insurance division, they audit employers and things like that to see if they're in compliance.
I see. Okay.
So I think this is coming. I'm sort of speculating here, but I think this is coming out of a situation where they're taking a look at this guy. They see he's got 8 people working there, and he's not paying for his insurance, and so they're like, "Hey, dude, you got to pay for insurance." And he says, "Oh no, I don't have 8 employees. I have 7 employees and a partner." And they say, "That's not a partner."
They're like, "Nice try, buddy."
Nice try. So she doesn't care. She doesn't have a dog in the fight. She's not even part of the case. This is about her, but it's not involving her in any way. This is about Fenwick, who doesn't want to pay for insurance, and the insurance commission that wants Fenwick to pay for insurance.
Got it. Okay.
And it's cheaper for him to give her whatever percentage he gave her than to pay out that insurance.
Unemployment for everybody in the salon.
Yeah, I mean, it could be that's why he decided to do that. It could also be that he was, found himself a clever way of not giving her a raise, but giving her a raise at the same time. Maybe he meant to give her a raise. He thought she deserved it, but he wanted to, 20% of the profit. I don't know how profitable a beauty shop was in 1939, but it could have been significant. So they have this agreement, and the Unemployment Insurance Commission says that's just a profit sharing. That's an employee profit sharing plan. That's all that is. That's not a partnership because she has no real control. She's not a manager. She doesn't get to continue to own the partnership after she stops working there. She gives 10 days notice and she's out of the partnership, and he keeps it. And so the appellate court says, we think that the Supreme Court below us, the Supreme Court is not the Supreme Court up above us. There's a Supreme Court below us. We think they're wrong. The Unemployment Insurance Commission is right. This is not a partnership. And we look at a number of different factors to test this out. We're weighing all the factors and the circumstances to come to some kind of conclusion as to whether what we call this. Of course, we look at the agreement of the parties. It does matter that they had this intention, and it's clear here that there was this written agreement. It's clear here that they had it drawn up by a lawyer. They called it a partnership. They said it was a partnership, and they put this testimony of Fenwick in my business association's casebook. And I always love to read testimony because it's just so fun. Let's see. The question was, when was she first hired by you? This guy's from New Jersey, so I'm going to do my best Ray Liotta.
Bring it.
That is when what I said was either 1937 or 1938. I can't say definitely what it was without looking it up. I couldn't give you the exact date. And she felt as though she was not getting enough money. Well, we were doing a lot of business, but the prices were very, very low at the time. It was in the Depression. You had to bring your prices down to get business. And I told her I did not want to lose her because she was a very good girl in the office and say what I needed. And I told her I couldn't see where I could afford to give her any more. And I did not want to lose her. So I went back and forth. And finally I said, look, I'll tell you what I'm going to do. If we make any more money, I will pay you more. If you want to go along on that agreement. And that is where the partnership thing came in. That's how we started to be in the partnership concern at that time. And that was when it was all discussed and arranged. That's the end of the quote. That's Fenwick. That's how he talks.
Nice.
Oh, thank you. Oh, please stop the applause. It's too much.
Beautiful.
Yeah. The court says, well, it sounds like this is a possibility of an increase in compensation, but he only had to pay it if the business warranted it. So it was they say the whole point here, we look at this testimony, it's clear that she was just asking for more money and he didn't have it. And so he was just looking for kind of an excuse or a way to do it. So it's just a financial relationship for compensation. That's what they really had in mind. And January 1st, 1939, the day of this partnership, nothing changed. She kept doing the exact same thing. She kept being a receptionist, and he kept being the boss. He kept running the business. And so their intention, while they said, oh, well, it's a partnership, it really, even though they called it a partnership, it wasn't a partnership because she had no control in the business at all. She was still a receptionist, and she just, might get more money maybe if, he decided to give it to her at the end of the year. So that's the main factor, is that they say the words of the parties don't matter. It's their intention. The intention of the words wasn't to create a partnership in the legal sense.
Did it ever get far enough along the partnership where she was paid out from profit share?
Yeah, yes, that was my question.
That is a good question. There's no facts in this case saying that she was paid under those terms. I don't think so.
Okay.
I think it was just we'll pay it if I can. Yeah. So I don't think he actually paid her anything. And that may have been an important factor too.
Interesting.
Yeah. So so they go through these several different elements. One of the things they say is basic to a partnership is the right to share in profits, and that it did exist here. We have this profit sharing agreement, 80-20, if there are any profits, but they say that doesn't necessarily make it a partnership. A profit sharing agreement isn't necessarily a partnership. You can not be partners, and you can say, I'm going to, you could think of like a loan situation. I'm going to give you $100,000 to start up your business, and you don't have to pay me back unless you make money. But if you make money, isn't that Shark Tank? Isn't that basically what they do in Shark Tank?
Oh,
yeah, they pay for a share in your company. They're not just giving you money.
Yeah. So they're not going to run the business at all. They're not going to be your partner. They're
but aren't they? That's sort of the negotiation. I don't want them to make this about Shark Tank, but that's usually like part of the negotiation is how involved they are going to be in the running of the business
as investors. Yeah.
Yeah.
You say, I don't want to be told what to do. So it's a question, but the point here being that profit sharing doesn't necessarily make it a partnership.
Got it.
They're different issues. Certainly, if you have profit sharing, it starts looking more like a partnership. Doesn't necessarily mean it is one.
Is there such a thing as a partnership without profit sharing?
Ooh.
Because
partnership without profit sharing. Well, I don't know what would the point be?
Right. That's what I was thinking.
So I'm going to be your partner.
What
just for fun.
Just for fun. Again, I'm just thinking about it. I think that's the idea that the partnership, if it, I'm trying to think of a situation where you'd want to become a partner with somebody and not get any of the upside. I guess that would be called marriage.
Okay, we had to go in that direction.
Just kidding.
Oh, for goodness sake.
I didn't mean that. There's no financial upside. I mean, there is, but it's not part of the agreement.
This is interesting.
Although, one of the reasons that I don't do joint partnerships myself is I say I've got one partnership, and that's my spouse, and my focus is on making sure that one's great.
You gotta fulfill that agreement.
Nice one. Yeah.
I'm
okay. So, I mean, I'm trying. I don't want to dwell on this soap opera sort of aspect of this, but I can't help but think that something was going on.
That's what
It kind of seems like something's going on.
Like, hey, I need a raise. All right. The best thing for us to do is see what happens and see if we make more money. And
at the end of the year,
sounds like a way for him to keep having sex with her and not have to,
I mean, this is a 1930s business owner, right?
Yeah. I mean, I don't know if it was my take on Fenwick. But as I'm reading the words, I'm like, this guy sounds a little shady to me. It sounds a little shady. I don't know.
Fenwick the Slick is what they used to call him.
Yeah. Okay. Right. And Billy, I have to say that your reading of his, your interpretation sort of pushed me further toward my assumption that something was going on.
Well, the thing about this,
straight,
it's text is so really, it's just like Shakespeare. It's like the words are working through me.
Nice.
I didn't have a preconceived notion. I barely read this case, so it's just I chose Ray Liotta, although it came out a little bit Joe Pesci, but but you know,
kind of a hybrid.
kind of a
Yeah.
hybrid. And
Great picture.
If you'd done it Walter Cronkite, I'd have been fully like,
yeah,
oh, the guy's on the
he's
guy's
completely on
great,
the up and up.
good guy. Yeah, but now
Yeah.
I'm like, nah.
I mean, also the fact that he calls her a very good girl, I think is kind of, that's sort of, he said she's a very good girl. It's like, really?
I didn't want to lose it. I'm like,
I didn't want to lose her. She was very good around the, shop. So she wanted more money, but I figured out a way to make her wait an entire year.
I'm sort of wondering about the other women in the shop.
Mhm.
I mean, I'm presuming that they were.
Yeah. Are we positing
sounding
that
like
Fenwick is a little handsy? He's a little
it's
handsy.
sounding like a hostile work environment to
Mhm.
me. I don't know. I just
Yeah.
want to make these assumptions
Mhm.
about. I'm sure Fenwick was.
Yeah,
a good
and
guy.
staying home to spend more time with my children kind of does sound like
Oh God.
maybe I don't want to work here anymore.
Yeah.
And then, oh my God, I don't even want to wonder about this pregnancy of hers. What do we know about that?
Seriously.
Oh my God.
The scandal upon scandal upon scandal we're heaping upon
just-
Mr. Fenwick.
Yeah.
And she quietly goes away.
Mhm.
to-
He doesn't even.
I want to spend. Yeah, this is not
she's-
sounding good.
She stuck around with this quote unquote partnership for 2 years and she got bupkis. So she was like, oh no, 3 years she was a partner.
Oh,
She got nothing.
Really? Wow.
She got nothing. So
That sounds like somebody who's under duress or something.
yeah, we're feeling for Cheshire right here. There's no Fenwick protectors here. He doesn't have an advocate in this room.
is there any more dialogue from him?
Unfortunately
case?
not. I wish there was. Because that was
Yeah,
fun.
it's I don't know anything about hair myself. I just I want to be around women. So I want to be in this shop. I opened the shop for that.
I opened the shop. It's a beauty shop because I like to be around the beauties.
Yeah.
That's why. The beauties. I didn't put out. It's not an ugly shop. It's
Oh
not
my
a
God!
tool
Can you
store.
just imagine the teams of women coming through there on the daily, weekly, monthly. This guy.
Fenwick's kind of
Oh my
overweight
God!
and
He was
sweaty.
no good.
balding.
He was dirty through.
Yeah, he doesn't. He has alopecia. He doesn't have hair. You're right. Yeah, but he doesn't know anything about hair.
He's just basically drooling on his shirt all the time.
Yeah.
Get over here. God,
Get over here.
We've turned him into a monster. Fuck that guy. Make him pay his insurance.
Yeah.
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 All right. Well, here's the other thing the court said is important in determining whether they are partners. The sharing of losses. Now, one thing in Mr. Fenwick's favor we will say is that he didn't make her bear the losses if there were any. And here the agreement explicitly says she's not on the hook for the losses. So only if there's profit, then maybe she'll get a 20% of that profit if he wants to pay it. So that's the second factor or third factor. The next factor, fourth factor, I'd say is the ownership and control of the partnership property. And here they say, look, it's really obvious. She didn't put any money in. She didn't own the shop. She didn't run anything. She didn't buy supplies. She had no ownership in it really. And when she left, she didn't take anything with her. So she doesn't have real ownership or real control in the partnership. And then they look at the power to administer, that is like to, who runs the management, who's in charge, who decides. Usually a partner is a person in charge. They're a person that makes decisions. They have some authority. And here they say, this isn't the case. They cite to a case called Voorhees and say, the person doesn't have any of the prerogatives of a principal in the management control of the business. And if it's not your prerogative, you can't do what you want to do.
Everybody's talking. Oh, sorry. Go ahead.
Mhm. That was it. There was a little shout out there.
No, but it's funny because if he incurred losses, they would have been the same with or without that partnership. So it's kind of not really. I don't see how that helps his case at all.
Right. I mean, this agreement, I think the only thing that really helps them in the agreement is that the word partnership is in it. So basically the court says, the language of the agreement, they call themselves partner and they call the business a partnership, but the agreement gives her no rights at all.
Well, she is setting those appointments.
She's
So
setting
she-
appointments. Absolutely,
hey,
she's setting appointments, but she's got no.
she's in control of when people come in and out of the shop.
Right, but if she's truly a partner, she's like, you know what? Do you think we could get rid of the extra P and E in the shopping? We just call it a shop instead of shop.
Right.
And Fenwick's like, look, I paid for the marquee. I paid for the extra P. I paid for the extra E. It's a class joint. We're keeping the P and the E at the end. All right.
It's fancy.
It's
The chicks
fancy.
dig it.
I got 2 P's for the price of 1. I mean, I had to think.
I went to the signpost maker, and they're like, listen, I know you don't have an E, but we got this extra E laying around. It's the most common letter in the alphabet. We're gonna give you 2 P's for the price of 1 if you buy an E. It's like, I'll buy a vowel.
Oh man, that's a whole different world. Marquee letter buying. That
Yeah.
whole grade.
Okay, what else do we know?
Another factor the court looks at is how do they act toward third parties? And here they say, okay, one factor that cuts toward it being a partnership is that the tax returns they filed were actually partnership tax returns.
Oh,
For income taxes, they held themselves out as partners. Fenwick reported on his income tax return that his income came for the partnership, but they didn't inform any of their vendors that they were partners. It was just Fenwick or the beauty shop.
is that a big deal?
Well, if you're holding it out to third parties that it's not a partnership, then it doesn't seem like it is.
Okay.
They're kind of batting things around. They didn't inform people. They said, well, it's not necessary. And he says, because all the purchases were cash. We didn't need credit. We just paid for everything in cash.
All right.
So that's
Shooting himself in the foot there with tax evasion.
I'm starting to think maybe Fenwick's laundering money out of this beauty
This
shop.
guy is I mean, my God, can he get any sleazier?
I know
Were they bootlegging in the back? I mean, Jesus.
Yeah. The name of the shop, the United Beauty Shop, he had gotten from one Florence Miola. He was basically paying this Florence Miola to use the name United Beauty Shop. So that was in his name, not in the partnership's name. This rental of the very excellent trade name United Beauty Shop.
Have that name. I mean,
They also look at what happens when the partnership breaks up. It's called dissolution, when a partnership dissolves. And in this case, the partnership was exactly the same as if she had quit a job. She stopped working and she stopped getting compensation, and everything went the way it was before she had become a partner or when she was just a receptionist. And so they look at everything and they say the burden's on the employer in this case, because it's workers' comp, the burden's on the employer of proving it a partnership. And we just don't think so. They're not the definition of a partnership. This goes back to Henry's question. The Uniform Partnership Act is an association of 2 or more people to carry on as co-owners a business for profit. So the element of co-ownership is what's really lacking in this case. They are carrying on the business for profit, but there's really no co-ownership. He got everything back when she was out, and ownership is basically conclusively shown here to be just in Fenwick. And they say the law says if you're paid profits, that doesn't necessarily mean you're a partner. It says no inference of partnership is drawn if the profits are received as wages of an employee. So the inference being the conclusion you draw from facts, the inference here is that the profit, the 20% that she's supposed to get, is an employee's wages profit sharing agreement. So the outcome is 7-5. 7 of the judges said this should be reversed, and 5 said it should be affirmed. That is Fenwick against Unemployment Insurance
This
Commission.
reminds me of, I don't know if this is an appropriate analogy, but when people get married for citizenship, oftentimes there will be some type of caseworker to come into the abode to establish whether or not it's an actual relationship. And the way they do that, from what I understand, is they'll see if there's common property ownership within the dwelling. You know, does he or she have belongings there, et cetera, to establish that it's an actual good faith partnership. You know,
They're checking the bathroom drawers for toothpaste.
Right.
Essentially.
Not just hanging out for the moment to okay. Wow. Interesting.
I mean, you know, that could get kind of intrusive, but yeah, it's the same thing. It's the idea being here, we're going to look past the label of something, what you are choosing to call it, and we're going to say what it is under the law.
What are the clues?
Mm-hmm. The factors. What are the factors of the
Real
elements we're
shit,
looking at
not
here?
not what. Yeah.
So in the case of
Wow.
partnership, ownership or control. So, in another episode, we talked about people creating a partnership inadvertently without meaning to. And you can create a partnership inadvertently without meaning to. And that can create problems as well. Here you have someone intending to create a partnership or suggesting that they're creating a partnership. And the court's saying, no, you didn't.
Really?
No, you didn't.
No, you didn't. You said you did, you didn't. You said you did, but you didn't.
What a sassy judge.
Yeah.
Was
Judge
it Judge
Sassalot.
Judy or something? I'm
Yeah.
just not. Yeah.
It's like 3 generations up from Judge Judy. No, you didn't. You didn't. Don't pee on my leg and say I'm raining. Don't pee on my leg and say it's raining. All right. You didn't. You said you drove the car. You didn't. All right.
Outrageous.
I'm Judge Sass.
Judge Sass. That's a good. I like that. That should be a 1990s sitcom.
Judge Sass.
Sass, yeah.
It would be really fun to like, go back to old cases and deal with them in the way that like some cheesy court TV judge,
Yeah, they're wearing a wig, like a white wig.
That's hilarious. Oh my God.
Yeah.
So we open on a suburban home in eastern Detroit. Judge Sass has walked through the door wearing his wig and his long robe. Honey, I'm home. Or am I? That's like the audience, cracks up. That's the catchphrase we got from Judge
Laughter.
Sass.
Yeah.
Did you make dinner or didn't you?
No, you didn't.
Yeah, no, you didn't. No,
Yeah.
you didn't. You said you did, you didn't. You said you did, you didn't.
Yeah. After every punchline, the protagonist looks towards the fourth wall.
Yeah.
Every punchline.
Yeah.
Look at
You
the audience.
said you did, you didn't. Wow. It's a 90s sitcom. They got to have a catchphrase, right? You said you did, but you didn't.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
My favorite was, did I do that?
Did I do that? Oh, yeah. That's a class. That's a good one.
No.
What are we going to do? Rachel, what are we going to do?
Okay, I didn't watch sitcoms in the 90s, so these are flying right over my head.
That was David Schwimmer.
Yeah.
Oh,
What are we going to do?
yeah. I've never
I'm a
seen
giraffe.
I've never seen a single episode of Friends, not
You're
one.
not missing anything.
So they say, or
Mhm.
actually, some people say it would save my life, would turn me
Mhm.
around.
I've seen enough clips to equate one episode, but in length, not in continuity. So I've seen like parts of different episodes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Miss Chesser, how you doing today?
I'm actually doing fantastic. Very excited about-
You look great.
Stop it! Are you flirting with me, Mr. Fenwick?
Oh, you're my favorite employee.
Mr. Fenwick. Well, I just if I could brag just a little bit, I'd like to show you the appointment book.
Oh, you know how much I like business. I'm a businessman.
Well, I know how excited you get when I show it to you. So
All right.
let's take a look at Tuesday.
All right.
So you see here at 9 a.m., we have 3 colored cuts.
Mm.
And oh my goodness.
Now the 3 colored cut. That's you're gonna have to slow that down. That's nomenclature that goes over my head. 3 colored cuts is remind me.
Well, I know. I'm sorry. I know you love this part. What a color and cut is when we take a product and we apply it to the hair, and that changes the color of the person's hair. And once we've done that, we give them a fancy haircut at the shop.
Oh, well, this, I don't know what I would do without you, Miss Jessica's. You know what? I don't have hair. Okay, clearly, I'm bald. And so that's why I have you ladies flocking around me to
And you know
take care
what?
of. Yeah.
We've all been talking about ways that we can work on something for you. You just say the word and we'll fix you up with a fancy wig.
Ding-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Hi, Mr. Fenwick. Hi, Miss Cheshire. I'm here for my weekly cut and color.
Oh,
Oh,
Jennifer.
Oh, Mr. Fenwick, you're so sassy all the time.
Oh.
hi, Mrs. Broderick. You're
Hi.
actually an hour early.
Oh, I wonder how I could kill an hour, Mr. Fenwick. What could I do? Should I just wait here under the blower?
Oh, actually, Mrs. Broderick, what we would prefer is if that you were to go down the street to the coffee shop and come back in time for your appointment in 1 hour.
Oh, are you in charge of something, Miss Cheshire?
I'm a partner here.
Oh, you're a partner. Okay. Ring-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling.
You didn't have to make her leave so quickly. I mean, she looked great in that sundress.
I don't understand why you even would promote having her hang here in the shop for a full hour before her appointment starts.
Well, it brings up the atmosphere. We're a little slow right now. But listen, I can see how. Look, I can see how. That might
It's
make things look.
suspicious, Mr.
Yeah.
Fenwick.
Look,
Mighty suspicious.
I want to tell you something, Miss Chesser. I think I see I've upset you. Okay, and it just so happens.
Really upset.
Look,
I'm really upset, Mr. Fenwick.
I could see that. You seem inconsolable right now. Let me what women, they like things.
Oh.
Hey, Chuck. Ding-a-ling. Hey, Chuck.
Hey, Barry.
Hey, how you doing, Chuck?
Hey, what's going? Come on.
It's 3:00 already. I've been down at the the corner pub. All the guys are wondering where you are. We got a game of darts and we're ready to start. Where are you, buddy?
Barry, I'm a businessman now, okay? And my business is understanding that ladies need things like doing their hair.
Oh yeah. Hey, how you doing, Toots? How you doing, Toots?
Hello, Mr. Robinson.
You could call me Barry.
No, thank you, Mr. Robinson.
Chuck, you got a real sassy one over there. Real
Yeah,
sassy over there.
that's how I like them. I love them nice and sassy, because sassy.
She's a good girl. She's a good girl.
Mr. Robinson, are you going to be having a service today? Because otherwise, we're going to have to ask you to leave.
You know what? I was thinking maybe we could continue talking about you as though you're not here. Is that what year? This is 1939, right? We could do that, right?
I mean, this is 1939 America, okay?
Excuse me for interrupting. Oh, excuse me.
Oh,
You make a good point. Go ahead and keep talking about me like I'm not here.
Look.
She's kind of broken the vibe of that.
Yeah, it's not the same, huh?
It's not do we use the word vibe in 1939? I don't think we do.
I understand. It's like the vibration in the body. It's a sort of one of those tree huggers that smoke that reefer. They talk about that stuff down the street.
The reefer, that's a term that's very, very on point for 1939. I believe that is exactly the term that we use.
Absolutely. I mean, it's madness. It's absolute madness. I mean, I'm an alcoholic.
Yeah.
I would never touch that stuff.
Who would touch the reefer when you got the legalized alcohol?
Matter of fact, I have a little stuff. I got a little something here, a little Kentucky Magic right here. If you want to take a little swig with me.
Oh, I don't mind if I do. Miss Cheshire.
Miss Cheshire.
Yes, Mr. Robinson.
Do you mind if we partake in front of you?
No, I don't. And you know what? Now that you have reminded me of my place in society at this time in our history, I would like to offer you a cup of coffee that I could prepare right here in the back for you.
Hold on
gentlemen
a
to
second.
enjoy.
You know something? You know something, Chuck?
Oh,
You know something, Chuck?
what?
You know, I'm starting to have a thought.
What did I tell you about thoughts, Barry?
They're not good. Usually I try to avoid it, but you know, there's something that your partner over there said kind of made me think. You know, I'm not so sure. Do you think the ladies like it when we talk about them like they're not here? Because this one, she doesn't seem to like it all that much. I'm reading between the lines here, you know, but
I'm not even listening.
You know what? Let's do a little experiment, okay?
okay, we'll try something different.
Miss Chester, what I would like you to do is I'd like you to have a conversation with Barry and leave me out, but talk about me as if I'm here or I'm not. Basically, treat me as if we were treating you, okay?
Oh, let's try that out. Let's see what that feels. Okay, all right. Hello, Miss Cheshire. Hey, you're looking very cute over there. You're looking
Thank
good,
you, Mr.
Barry.
Robinson. It's very important to me that you notice that. Have you spoken with my boss today, or with my partner, rather?
You know, is that that fellow over there? He's looking nice over there in his little, suspenders and whatnot. Looks a little sweaty, but
That's him.
we just
Hey,
talk
what do you
about him
think
like
of
he's.
the fact that he doesn't have any hair. We all talk about how interesting it is that he owns a beauty shop, but he's bald as a jet ski.
I think they call that irony. And also in 1939, we're very familiar with jet skis.
Oh, well, I keep forgetting about the difference between, the things that I fantasize about and what the reality is here for me in 1939.
Well, just tell me more about these fantasies. Do they involve coming down to the corner pub and having a glass of whiskey with the other folks?
Oh, well, my goodness, I wouldn't dare. I mean,
it's after 3 o'clock.
Such a thing would have no integrity. Would have no. I would bring shame to my family. I would be a strumpet, a harlot.
I'm not gonna.
How did that feel for you?
This doesn't feel too good.
It doesn't feel too good.
No.
All right, now you guys do it, and now let me see how it'll feel. You guys do it, and I'll listen. Are you talking about me like I'm not here? I just ding-a-ling-a-ling, I just walked in. Okay, now you talk about me like I'm not here.
You just take this this whiskey away from me.
Okay, I got you.
So bored and depressed. I had almost half the bottle. Here.
All right.
Okay, well, Mr. Robinson wants us to talk about him like he's not there. Everybody knows that he hasn't had a job in like 5 years, and we don't know why his wife is tolerating that. That's crazy.
And the crazy thing is, I understand people are coffee enthusiasts, but you don't have to come in with coffee breath all the time. It's just it's very unpleasant.
It's horrible.
Excuse me if I interrupt. I said you could talk about me as if I was not here, but I didn't necessarily mean insult me.
Are those things insulting, Mr. Robinson?
I don't think that coffee breath is considered a good thing, even in 1939.
Hey, look. I took an acting class downtown, and they told me, really commit to the imagination, the imaginatory, if you will, situation. So all
right. I'm sorry. I interrupted your scene. I'll proceed now, as you were. Please continue talking about me as though I'm not here. Yes.
Hey,
but just tone down the insults.
Oh, yeah.
Okay.
I mean, we won't say anything that's insulting, but boss, I mean, partner, I'm really enjoying this role playing with you.
It brings a lot of light to my life because things aren't too good at home with the missus, as you know, but not as bad as Barry.
Oh, I can't imagine it getting as bad as Mr. Robinson.
Hey, I'm over here still. I can hear you. I got ears.
Know what? Oh my God. You know what? I think we should just go back to the way that makes the most sense, which is you two talking about me like I'm not here. I mean, that makes the most sense, right?
Well,
I don't know. I feel like now that I've seen Paris, I can't go back to the farm. If you know what I'm saying.
oh man, you talk like an educated man. Let me tell you.
It's just, it's that old song, how you going to get them back on the farm after they've seen Paris?
Yeah, I mean,
I didn't know about that. That's a good one.
It's a directly on point 1939 reference. I'm quite sure of it.
That's pretty good.
My point being, I'm exploring new versions of my identity.
Okay.
Wow, how deeply insightful, Mr. Robinson.
Thank you.
Well,
I'll be going now.
Oh
No?
But
Well,
Barry, okay.
I got an idea. Chuck,
Yeah.
maybe we just invite her down to the corner bar. What do you say?
Yeah.
We'll close up shop early.
Oh, I mean, are you still talking about me like I'm not here, or am I here?
Here's the thing, Barry. Here's the thing. She's my partner. Okay. So I struck up this deal.
Okay.
Where she basically does the exact same job that I hired her to do. Okay, which is running the cash machine and occasionally putting her hands on some hat. And I don't pay her any. There's no more compensatory additions to her weekly pay. But I if we do make a profit, if 20% of profits, and I get to deduct the insurance people while doing that.
Well, let me ask you a question, Miss Cheshire, since I have evolved intensely during this conversation. How do you feel about that arrangement? Oh, she's not answering.
Yeah, Mr. Cheshire. Oh, you're asking me.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You were completely thrown off on my rapid evolution.
I was so, you've grown so much in this converation. I just couldn't stop listening to you. And I got a little bit.
So I matured.
You know what, Mr. Robinson? I really trust Mr. Fenwick. This new arrangement last year, he says we didn't get any profits. And so he wasn't able to give me anything, couldn't give me anything extra, but I have faith that I think things are going to turn around this year. I really do.
She's a good girl. She's a good woman.
Clear. Do you think you're a good girl?
I think I'm a good girl. I try to be.
I think she's a good girl too.
I'm real good with the appointments.
Real good. Oh,
I'm real good.
So, to answer your question, no, she cannot leave with us because she has to watch the front of the shop.
I understand.
Yeah.
I understand.
I
Hey,
mean,
there's a lady waiting down at the corner, by the way. She's been hanging out there for about 45 minutes.
Oh my God.
What?
It's got to be Teresa. She has a 3:30.
Ting-a-ling-a-ling-a-ling. Why, hello, darling.
Teresa.
How are you, darlings?
Hi, Teresa. So glad to have you back.
At the beauty shop.
Teresa, we are going to have you looking so gorgeous for your husband when you walk out
I like
of
to
here.
look gorgeous for my husband.
Let's not talk about her husband right now. Let's not ruin the mood. Let's
no.
not ruin the mood.
Yeah. So Teresa, if you just want to hang out here for 1 second, we're gonna have a booth ready for you.
Oh, no.
Let me go out and get you
no
some.
No problem, Eileen. Yeah, absolutely.
I beg your pardon, sweetheart.
I said no problem, Eileen.
Okay, so Mr. Fenwick, if you could just take care of her for a moment, I'm gonna go in the back and get her some fresh, cold lemonade.
Yeah, it's way in the back. Way.
All right, Mr. Fenwick. I'll be right back.
Oh, Barry, we're finally alone.
Teresa.
Yes, Barry.
I got something to tell you.
Do you think we should pay any attention to oh no, wait. You're Chuck. Barry's over there.
That's Barry. You know Barry.
Barry's over in the corner.
Yeah, Barry's in the corner.
He's just standing there.
He's just standing there watching us.
I don't understand. I was thinking that right about now would be time for us to, get a little funny in the back, but I feel like Barry's watching us.
All right, guys. Well, I'm gonna head on out. I'm gonna head on down to gonna do some bowling for the afternoon. So Barry is out.
Toodaloo, toodaloo.
Okay, Barry, I'll see you at the smoking lounge later.
All right, man.
We're finally alone.
Teresa, you know how much I love you.
I know you do, Chuck.
I love everything about you. I love the way you're just so womanly.
Thank you so much.
You're shaped like an hourglass.
Have you told your wife about us yet, that we're in love? And we're gonna run off and get married in Cancun?
She could never understand something like that. You know?
I've been waiting for so long for you, Chuck. So long.
I know, baby. Look, at least for right now, because things are just complicated at home. I want to make you a partner.
Make me your partner. I will be glad to be your partner.
I'll have a lawyer draft up some paperwork.
Oh, Chuck.
For our love. It's going to be a love contract. Because I'm here with you. I'm here with you, Teresa.
Oh, Chuck. This is the best day of my life.
Oh,
After all this time I've spent coming and getting my hair cut here, I'm finally having my dream come true. You're making an honest woman out of me, Chuck.
You know, you could maybe even start working here.
All right, but I want half the salon. I want half the salon.
Now, baby, that's not,
I want management and control. I want half the profits. I'll take half the losses if there are any. Come on, Chuck. You know this is what's right. 50-50, equal partnership. You told me. You promised me.
Here you go, Teresa. Here's your fresh ice cold
Eileen,
lemonade.
Thank you. It's so kind of you. It's always lovely to see you, Eileen.
Oh gosh.
Teresa, I don't know if you know this, but it's good news. I got real good news.
No.
I'm a partner right here at United Beauty. Yeah. Mr. Fenwick loved my work.
Well, I am just appalled. I thought that you loved me, Chuck. I thought that I was your partner. I thought that I was your one true, and you no good two-timing, shoe-horning, vagabond, encyclopedia salesman. I never.
Mr. Fenwick, you've been entertaining Teresa too.
I'm a woman scorned, and that's why I sound like I'm from the South suddenly.
She's being a little histrionic right now. She's confused.
Mr. Fenwick, I'm gonna have to toss this ice cold lemonade right in your face.
No.
There you go.
You tell him, sister. You tell him.
There you go, Mr. Fenwick.
And
I'll
get out of the shop.
Right out of here.
Get out of the shop. Get out.
Over.
That lemonade costs so much money.
It's ours now. Women's power. No, you're out.
I'm out. I mean, unless we should fight him for the shop. We can fight him for the shop.
We'll be 50-50 partners.
We'll be 50-50 partners.
We'll be 50-50 partners. None of this.
Teresa. And you know what? Well, I've always thought you
Yes,
were.
Eileen.
I've always thought you were real. Well, we're not supposed to talk about this in this time that we're living in, but I always thought you were so beautiful. Would you think about thinking of me in a way that might be a little bit unconventional?
I think I'm ready for a new direction in my life.
And it could just be our secret.
It'll just be us. You and me and the beauty shop.
United
As one.
I'm still here.
Yeah, well, we're talking about you like you're not. Because you're not.
And scene.
Woo!
That was perfect.
I really enjoyed that.
That was good.
Yeah.
All right.
My Jersey would go a little Southern at times,
Mhm.
but I don't, you know what I mean? It was my first time.
Just holding on to an accent, you know. Pia, where can people find you on the internet and the socials? Thank you so much for being here today.
On the socials, you can find me at Pia Minsky Style on the Instagram, and I think that's plenty.
Awesome. Thank you so much, Pia. And Henry, where can people find you on the socials, the internet, media?
I also believe Instagram would be plenty, and it would be at Henry the David. All right, that's my handle, folks.
At Henry the David. Thank you both, and thanks for listening to Laying Down the Law Earmark Edition, the show where we learn about new ways of doing things and old ways of doing things and jet skis in 1939. That's our show.